Planning to stay up all night for the World Cup? Well, your body might have something to say about that. On this episode of the MarshyCast, I'm joined by sleep expert James Wilson, better known as the Sleep Geek, to talk about surviving those late-night World Cup kickoffs. We discuss whether Planning to stay up all night for the World Cup? Your body might have something to say about that. On this episode of the MarshyCast, I'm joined by sleep expert James Wilson, better known as the Sleep Geek, to talk about surviving those late-night World Cup kickoffs. We discuss whether pulling an all-nighter is really as bad as people think, the best way to prepare if you're planning to watch the football, and how quickly you can recover afterwards. James also shares practical tips for staying alert, avoiding the dreaded afternoon crash, and why getting the balance right could help you enjoy the tournament without completely wrecking your sleep. It's Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by the Sleep Geek, James Wilson. James, how are you, sir?
Oh, very good, thank you.
Of course, we are smack bang in the middle of World Cup fever. It's funny, isn't it? So depending on where it is in the world every year, it's either during the day and we kind of miss it because we're working and doing all our other bits and pieces, or it's on the other side of the world somewhere and it's all night. And so it's 8 hours of football. Listen, unless you're going to give up your job, and you're not going to get to see all 8 hours of football, but we do try and watch as much as we possibly can. And of course, this can cause a lot of problems with getting up in the morning, can't it?
It can do. So we're talking today about some research we've done with Lenovo, who are the tech partners of the World Cup, and they're about fan experience. And I think this World Cup for us here in the UK, fan experience is all about sleep, because we've got these start times where they are struggling. That we are often struggling to stay awake, or struggling to get up the next morning, and it can really impact on our body's ability to sleep. Like we saw in the research, 3/4 of people are going to watch most of the games. We saw 1 in 10 are going to pull an all-nighter. And I think if you're thinking about that, book the day off work the next day will be my advice, because especially if your job involves heavy machinery or safety critical roles, you've got to be a little bit careful with that kind of stuff. So sleep is really, I work in companies mostly, and in sports teams, and we're having a lot of conversations around the World Cup and sleep right now. Everyone's got an opinion, some magic trick, and things that they are doing around sleep.
I think the thing is, when you talk about pulling an all-nighter, it's really interesting because obviously you never can predict what a game is going to be like. Now, if you happen to have 4 games that are all end-to-end brilliant games, it's going to be a little bit easier to stay awake. But as we well know, some of the games do tend to be a little bit boring. And I can't think, it was over a weekend, whichever week, maybe the first weekend of the World Cup. And there was like a 9, an 11, a 2 and a 5 or something like that. And I said to my wife, I was like, I want to stay up and watch these all night. Just don't wake me up. Let me sleep. Because it was a Saturday night into a Sunday. So I was like, just let me sleep. I think I watched 2 of the 4 and I was like, I'm falling asleep here. This is really, really tough. But even like the late games, so I know that we've had a few 9 p.m. kickoffs, which obviously finish at 11. And then some people are doing the 11 to 1 p.m. kickoffs as well. Getting up the next day, I mean, what's the best way to try and squeeze everything in that you want to and that you can?
I think hierarchy it. So so what is the must-see games? What are the games that you'd like to see? And then what are the games that if you fall asleep and it's a 0-0 draw between 2 teams you're not bothered about, and that will be different for everyone, it'll be a struggle. So I think that is what I'm advising to people to do. I think bear in mind who you are as a sleeper as well. If you're a bit of a lark, and you're trying to hit at 2 o'clock, you want to watch a 2 o'clock game in the morning, then go to bed for a bit. Set your alarm, get up, watch the game. If you're an owl, don't go to bed. Because if you're an owl, you'll just go to bed at 9. You'll lay there tossing and turning for a couple of hours. You'll actually, like, probably around 11:30 start feeling quite sleepy. And then you're desperately trying to stay awake, where the lark will have had a little bit of sleep. So owls, I'd say, stay awake, watch the game, go to bed. And like you said, maybe like have a lie in the morning. It ain't fair. We've all got different sleep types, so Larks will probably find it easier. They can have a decent sleep before the game. Al might not, but it's working with your body's natural rhythm, but also remembering your body's quite flexible when it comes to sleep. I mean, you will have had times in your life where you've slept poorly and you've dealt with the next day. So if the story you create is this is going to be really hard tomorrow, and I'm going to be awful, and I'm going to like not be able to do my job, it'll come true. And what I'm finding a little bit with my sort of coaching clients who are maybe like insomniacs or are really struggling to sleep, they're watching games because I would encourage them to. This is every 4 years. His community comes together, your family comes together. You've got to watch this. This is really this is life. This is enjoyable.
Yeah.
But they're then creating this. I've changed my schedule because they've created these rigid schedules. And actually, the more you relax up about this stuff, I'm sure, as we found on Thursday morning, the morning is far more brighter when England have played well and won, isn't it? That is the big difference. So if we keep winning and we get all the way through to the final, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about the sleep. If we do lose a game, touch wood, we won't. If we do, that's when we'll start going, I slept awful last night. It was rubbish.
Do you know what's really, really funny? So I've been staying up to watch sort of like the second game, which is usually like a 9 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
So it finishes at 11. And I get up at 6 every day with my kids to get them ready for school. And most mornings I've been literally peeling myself out of bed like, ugh. It's funny, the morning after England won, I woke up with a little bit of a skip in my step. But, you know, but the really funny thing is about all of this is I'm also an NFL fan. So I'm kind of used to this with the start times and all of that. And the one big one, obviously, is the Super Bowl. Which begins usually at around about midnight here in the UK. And I do exactly what you said. I go to bed at 8 p.m. I sleep through till like 11:30 and set an alarm, get up and watch the Super Bowl, and then go back to bed and have another 3 hours sleep then or something like that. I think if you are an England fan, and I'm aware that there will be a lot of people supporting other countries that are listening right now, but if you are an England fan, I think we're very lucky in the fact that in every eventuality, there is only one game that we might be playing, which is a 2 a.m. kickoff, which is if we get through to the last 16 and if we play Mexico in Mexico City, it's a 2 a.m. kickoff. But every other one, we're very lucky that it's either an 8 or a 9 p.m. kickoff, I believe.
Yeah, and I think that we have. I think the TV schedulers have kicked in, and we've put some pressure on for our games to be at a decent time for us to be able to watch it. But like you, I'm an NFL fan. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I struggle with the Super Bowl.
It was going so well. We were getting on so well. I'm a Giants fan.
But I'm going to do what you've said because I normally try and stay up and don't manage it, and it has been quite difficult. But I think the thing to remember as well, the best thing for good night's sleep tonight is a bad night's sleep last night. So if we've slept poorly because we've watched an England game and we've got less sleep, we're a bit sleep deprived. Sleep deprivation is not a bad thing. What stops us sleeping when we sleep deprived? Your body wants to give you sleep. Sleep is one of the 4 things we need to live: food, water, air, and sleep. So if you are in the right physiological state, you'll fall asleep. What stops it is this. We start thinking, I slept awful last night. What if I sleep awful tonight? And what if I've changed stuff? And you create this story, this narrative. So my message is, say you apply for children. I know people asking me, should my kids stay up? Is that all right? Yeah. I'm not a parenting expert, but for me, as a 46-year-old man who was 10 when Italian 90 happened, one of my foremost memories of my life, like that, this is what childhood's about. And I'm a sleep expert, and sleep is important, but it shouldn't override being you and being human. And the World Cup is one of those things that brings us together as humans. So let's enjoy it. Sleep will be a bit worse, but at the end of it, hopefully, we've won.
Well, do you know what? I would say also planning, because let's just say, for example, you go, right, I know that England are playing tomorrow night at 9 p.m, so I'm not going to bed till 11:30, midnight. The night before, make sure you get a good night's sleep, right? Maybe try and get an extra hour in the morning if you can. Get a good night's sleep. Get plenty of sleep the night before, and it's not going to hit you as hard the next day.
And I work a lot in sports, and we will often bank. I am the winningest sleep coach in football. I know. Well, if your local football team needs a sleep expert who wins things, I'm the man to talk to. But I would say that's something we do with certain sports. It can be difficult because you can't force sleep. So if that sleep comes naturally, yes. But actually, it is about. So when I was the sleep expert for West Ham when they won the Europa Conference League. That's Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. we had to train on Friday. We didn't sleep well on Thursday, but we knew that, so we just made sure the rest of the time we were sleeping the best we can. It's the best, not perfect. You don't need 8 hours. You need the sleep that you need. That's what we need to remember is important.
Very quickly, because we are running out of time. What about a cat nap? What about a siesta in the afternoon?
Tactical naps are really helpful. I think especially if you're now and you've gone all the way through and you've watched the game and then you've kind of like gone to work. If you could fit half an hour nap in, when I was working for someone else, I used to have a nap in the toilet for 30 minutes, sat up on the toilet every day. I was sleep deprived. I wasn't a good sleep at the time. The bad thing was no one noticed for a whole year. So that gives you an idea of the level of endeavour my colleagues felt I was doing. James in here again. That's fine. So you find a little corner at work. Don't tell them I told you this. Find a little corner at work. Take a newspaper in with you, so it looks like you're doing something else, and you'll be all right. But I think naps less than 30 minutes or more than an hour and a half. But remember, nap too close to when you want to go to sleep, it can steal your nighttime sleep.
Yeah,
it's like a snack before tea. So
yes, yeah.
Experimentation, like Thomas Tuchel will be trying different tactics in the group stages. Fans have got to try different tactics on how to deal with late nights during the group stages for when it gets important and you don't want to miss a game. That'd be my last piece of advice.
James, it's been brilliant talking to you. If people want to find out a little bit more about this survey, where can they do that? So
for this survey, if you go to if you look for Lenovo World Cup on where your favourite search engine, there's loads of stuff about the stuff that they're doing around Lenovo, stuff about this research. They're trying to support that fan experience during the World Cup, and sleep is so important to that.
Well, look, James, been brilliant talking to you. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup, and I look forward to chatting again soon.
Sleep well.